All right, welcome everyone, and welcome to our session. Welcome to Ignite. Thank you all for coming to join us here, and it's actually great to be back in San Francisco. This is a part of the country that I called home for most of my life, up until about 2 years ago when I made my way over to the Seattle area and joined Microsoft. And you know, today's actually been a great day. It's great to see so many people coming out. This is just the second year that we went back in-person events. And I think it's really fantastic that we're here in San Francisco, where we see just so much great AI innovation happening. And across this event, if you watched the keynote, if you attended some of the sessions, you might have heard us talking a little bit about frontier organizations or frontier transformation. And at the core of that is a wave of new applications that are just coming online. We expect that to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.3 billion agents that are going to move to production in just the next 2 years. And as we've discussed, these applications really distinguish themselves by their ability to reason, by their ability to act on our behalf with both intelligence and with agency, and to serve as an extension of our teams and really an extension of ourselves in our everyday lives. And you know, the organizations that are using these agents and they're being successful and they're driving deep impact for their business is what we call frontier. And in this session, we're actually going to shift from the concept of what a frontier application is into how you can actually bring these AI applications and agents to production, how you can ensure that that every agent delivers on the expectations and the results that you're looking for, and that every one of those applications can also be governed and managed and operated in the way that you need to protect your business. And so if we look at just some great examples here, the impact of AI is already undeniable. We're seeing direct, measurable, and very tangible improvements in things like efficiency and productivity, cost and time savings for key business services. And just take, for example, Standard Chartered Bank, who used the app modernization agents in GitHub Copilot to transform their legacy stock grading systems in just 4 weeks. The developers talked about an increase in productivity of around 40%. And Java version upgrades were accelerated by around 70%. And all of that included 95% test coverage by AI-generated tests. Or look at SoftBank, who's now using AI agents to cover about 2/3 of their enterprise customer support issues. This is reducing customer support costs by over $150 million. This is a significant improvement in all of these business services, but the challenges that we hear from customers like yourselves are also quite common. You know, we hear that you're under massive pressure to deliver agentic applications for your business as fast as possible, that you're navigating a complex set of tools and services, that new models are arriving every day. We had some arrive just this week. And building the services means that developers are working across a very diverse, very complex set of multiple, often unknown or foreign environments, and that you're having to integrate all of these disconnected systems just to be successful. Those that move to production can often find that the agent actually falls short of expectations. Without the right grounding and the right data, the right context for all of your users in your business, you're finding that some of those services just aren't giving you what you expected. And with the rise of multi-agent systems, the security threat service and the need for governance over agent behavior, for usage and for cost, it just continues to expand. But we need to define a model for security and governance that protects your business while also giving you the freedom to innovate at the speed and the impact that you need for your business. And that's incredibly complex, but making it even more complex is that these applications themselves actually have unique needs. They need access to the best models for various use cases. They have to connect those agents and applications to the right knowledge sources to contextualize AI responses. You have to orchestrate across multi-agent systems, and you have to continuously evaluate if your solutions at every stage of the AI lifecycle have the proper content safety and security measures. All of that is making this entire process of bringing these applications to life very, very complex. And these are the exact challenges that we've taken on with Microsoft Foundry, and as we've evolved this platform, we've thought through the kinds of things that we need to do. It's the most widely used AI platform in the world, and it gives us great insights into what you need to be successful. And so it's why we continue to expand our model catalog to bring you the greatest diversity and range of models for every use case, including those from OpenAI and from Anthropic, and why we're making it easier than ever to connect with the diverse data sources that bring deep context to your agents, that allow you to dynamically reason over your business systems and your data, and ensure that every agent is grounded, reliable, and relevant. It's also why we're bringing together this single control plane that we announced today. All of the services you need to manage, identity and policy, observability and security. And we've built this platform to be integrated so that you have great access to a complete set of Azure services, but we also want it to be modular so that you have the flexibility to use any model, any tool, open frameworks. This is a complete foundation for you to define the next stage of your AI strategy and to really push forward to deliver the results that you're looking for. Now, today we took a very significant step forward. We've augmented Microsoft Foundry with a curated set of application platform capabilities. And that's actually what we're going to show today through our demos. We'll bring those to life and show you exactly how they work. But it includes things like Logic Apps connectors that give you access to 1,400 systems like SAP and ServiceNow, HubSpot, all as MCP tools. And it gives you the power to quickly integrate into your core business systems, but also to act on the real-time business data and events that those systems surface. And through API management, any API or function can now be securely exposed as an MCP tool, but also through the integration of AI Gateway into the new Foundry control plane, you have augmented governance and visibility for every agent, an MCP tool with built-in authentication, cost control, and logging. Now, this is just the beginning. These are great new integrations, and we're excited to showcase those for you, but you should expect that this will be a continual strategy, and we'll just continue to bring out more ways that we can bring services from our application platform together with our AI platform as well to help you bring these agents and AI applications to life. Now, before we dive into the new capabilities, I actually want to highlight a specific customer. KPMG is doing some great things with agents. They're realizing great results. And in just a minute, I'm going to bring up Robert Finlayson, who's going to detail their journey working with us. They began their generative AI journey back in 2023. They built a new service called KimChat, which is really an assistant, but they quickly advanced into building agents and have become one of the early adopters of Microsoft Foundry. They now have over 50 AI assistants and chatbots in production, but they're actually working on 1,000 more agents and chatbots that will be helping them across their system. And Robert Finlayson is the principal product manager at KPMG. He's going to share where they started, some of the things that they experienced along the way, and then also what's next. Before we bring up Robert, I'm going to run a short video, and when we're done with that, Robert will join us on stage.
KPMG Workbench is our global AI platform built with Microsoft to amplify human expertise through trusted AI agents, accelerating research, innovation, and client delivery. Early agents built with AutoGen on infrastructure as a service worked well but lacked orchestration at scale. Think of them as talented musicians without a conductor, brilliant but not in harmony. Enter Foundry Agent Service, integrated into Workbench, bringing intelligent agents into KPMG's AI ecosystem. When a KPMG app triggers an agent execution, the request first passes through Azure API management. This secure facade enforces role-based access control and logs every interaction for complete observability. From there, the request flows into the agent service. Inside Microsoft Foundry, workloads are orchestrated across multiple Foundry projects. Each project hosts a network of agents and connects seamlessly to KPMG tools, enabling complex agentic workflows. The data layer is powered by Azure Cosmos DB. Telemetry streams into App Insights, Azure Monitor, and Log Analytics. Now let's see this architecture perform. KPMG Casecraft is an AI-powered storytelling assistant, with agents working together to create, find, and elevate KPMG's most compelling client delivery stories. Picture the reviewer, research, and editor agents working in parallel to craft a case study for a major European airport. Multi-agent workflows run seamlessly, recovering gracefully from errors, while telemetry ensures compliance and performance. Just as a conductor brings out the best in every section of an orchestra, this integration unlocks capabilities that turn individual agent skills into a seamless, high-performing ensemble. Benefits of using Microsoft Foundry: complex workflow logic, parallel execution, reliability, deep observability. Our experience showed that orchestrating agents isn't just about waving the baton. It's about designing the entire score before the first note is played. Here's what made the harmony possible: security context propagation, early architecture planning, built-in connectors, telemetry. With Microsoft Foundry as the conductor and APIM as the stage manager, KPMG Workbench transforms isolated agent brilliance into a symphony of innovation, delivering outcomes that resonate with clients and redefine how we work.
All right, welcome to the stage, Robert Finlayson from KPMG. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
I'll just take it to next.
All right.
What an intro. So how do we get started? Our journey with Microsoft Foundry started over 18 months ago. We wanted to be our client zero. So we immediately deployed models, put APIM in front of those models for cost recovery, observability. Then we started to create agents. We use AutoGen and semantic kernel. In May of this year, when Agent Service went GA, we transitioned our agentic workloads into Agent Service. All net new agents are now in Agent Service. And we continue with our transition. As we've scaled into our agentic fleet, we've had to standardize how we work with Foundry. So we leverage Foundry's projects, templates, the incredible tools from Foundry, KPMG tools, all to build once and use many times. We've learned a lot in our journey, and I'll just highlight two things. One thing is we were expecting Foundry to be a dev tool. And for us, Foundry has extended to an agentic SDLC platform. So we have product managers, model managers who are looking at the model catalog. We have data scientists doing experiments. We have our trusted AI professionals looking at the responsible AI tools. We have our testing and operations team look at the evaluations. So Foundry has extended to our full SDLC. Our other learning has been about the project architecture in Foundry. Don't use one single project for all your agents. Use multiple projects. It segments the agent workloads, and it's helped us put role-based access control onto our agentic apps. So two things we've learned along the way. What we're building next with Foundry is we're transitioning our agentic workloads, hosted agents. We have a lot of container-based agents from AutoGen, and you'll hear later in this session today about how we now have hosted agents in Foundry. So that's something which we'll be doing next. The other super exciting thing is the Foundry control panel. And that plane, and that's going to provide us with deep observability, to put guardrails on our tools, and a lot of our teams are excited to get working with that. So that's what we'll be doing next with Foundry and agents. All right.
Thank you, Robert.
Cheers.
So that was really exciting to hear what KPMG has done to build their own platform for their apps and agents. But I'm even more excited about what we're doing in Foundry to make it your turnkey platform for building your apps and your agents. So to take us through that, I want to show you a few demos of some of the capabilities that we've added into Foundry. But first, going back to what Mike showed you earlier, these are the areas that we focused on: equipping your agents with tools and knowledge, giving you better ways to build agents in Foundry so you can do them visually or through code, and also giving you this centralized control plane for managing your agents and all the data sources and tools that they use. So to take us through the capabilities, we thought it would be nice to kind of use a real scenario. So the scenario that we're going to use today is about enhancing the customer return process. This is a pretty common process in many retail and other industries. And the things that we're going to show, firstly, we're going to talk about how agents can replace much of the human reasoning that's needed in these business processes. Then we want to show you how these agents can access different business systems, both for getting the data that they need to make these decisions, but also to implement some of the actions so that they can function autonomously. Then we'll talk about hosted agents, like we'll add more and more agents that can all now work together. And then we'll show how these agents can enhance your existing business processes and also help you build new agentic process implementations. And finally, we'll show you how you can observe and govern all aspects of such a solution through Foundry and the application platform. So first, let's talk about enriching agents with real-time context. So agents are only powerful and useful as the tools that they have available to them. So tools help agents deal with multiple modes, whether it's text, images, video, or audio. They help you connect to different business systems. These could be your backend business systems. It could be partner systems. It could be third-party SaaS that you're using. And they help you integrate custom business logic. So this could be existing business processes that you want your agent to use. So all of that is possible through tools. Now looking at what Foundry provides a whole bunch of built-in tools that help you deal with different modes, whether that's speech, vision, or language. We are, as Mike announced, we are also announcing more than, it's actually 1,500 plus now, not 1,400. It's 100 more that we found this morning that are now available in Foundry. And these are enterprise-grade connectors that have been available in our process automation platform for a really long time. They are used by thousands, like hundreds and thousands of enterprises. And what we've done is made it super easy to make them available as MCP tools so that your agents can access them. And I'll show you next how you can take advantage of that in Foundry. And finally, we give you many different ways to build your own custom tools, whether these are existing APIs that you want to make available as MCP tools, or these are new MCP tools that you want to code to support your agents. We make that possible in Foundry. So let's jump into a quick demo.
This is the new Foundry portal, and we can start by creating an agent here. But to make this process simpler, I've already created some agents where we can look at it step by step on how to get to the full frequency agent. So let's start with this. To start with, we have some very simple system instructions for the model, and we're going to add some tools. The first tool we want is a tool to get our order details from Shopify. To do this, we'll go here, add a new tool. And as you can see, Foundry has a lot of built-in tools, but it also has this catalog where you can find remote MCP servers, local MCP servers, and also Logic Apps connectors available as MCP servers that you can customize and use in your agents. So we'll go ahead and search for Shopify. There you go. Click that. To run these MCP servers, Foundry uses Logic Apps. So the first time you create a tool in a Foundry project, a Logic App resource is created. But after that, the same Logic Apps resource is used for other tools. So now we're in the Azure portal. And we'll start by giving this a name. The more descriptive we can make our tool and also the actions available in it, the easier it is for the agent to start using them. So we need to provide a connection to Shopify, and to do that, you need the API key from Shopify and also the stored URL. Let's go ahead and use the connection that I've already created. And now we can add the actions that are available through this tool. So these are the actions that are available through the Shopify connector. And let's pick this one. And we can also configure the parameters that are required for this tool to function. In this case, we need the order ID. And we can specify if the order ID is going to be provided by the model dynamically, or if it's going to be hard-coded at this point. So you can imagine the use case where a tool is going to be used by different agents, and it always has to behave the same way. So you might want to hard code some of these parameters, but in this case, we're going to let the model provide the parameters. We'll save the changes and register. This will go ahead and create the logic app connector to create the corresponding MCP server and make it available as a tool in Foundry. The nice thing about this is you didn't have to know the full API signature of Shopify, and you can set it up in a way that the agent can dynamically figure out what parameters are needed and what the shape of the request needs to be, and send that request over to this tool. So we can now go ahead and add this to any of our agents, but let's switch over to an agent that I've already created that has this tool. So now this agent has more instructions. So we're going to ask the user for the order number. We're going to use the tool that we just added to get the details of that order. And we're going to ask the user which product from the order they want to return. So now let's go ahead and add the file search tool. This is going to help us add all the policy documents from the different suppliers for our store. So we'll add all these documents. And what this is going to do is create a new vector index based on all the policies that are in these supplier provided documents. And it's going to make that index available to all the agents in this project. So you can create a new index if you want, or you can use one of the available indices. So we'll go ahead and switch to one of our agents that already has this tool added. So as you can see, now we have more instructions. Basically, the agent is going to use the PDFs to reason about the return and make a decision on whether the return is allowed or not based on that particular supplier's policy. And it's going to let the user know about its decision. So now we have two tools. Let's add another tool. This one is going to be a function that I've already created. The function is pretty simple. It basically takes in package dimensions and weight and decides if a package is overweight or it's a package that requires pickup. And then the agent can use that information to offer pickup to the user. So this is an example of a scenario where you don't have an existing MCP server and you have to create a new MCP server. It's very easy to create these MCP servers with functions. Basically, in your functions code, you add the MCP tool trigger, and that automatically makes it available as an MCP server. And you can simply use the URL of the function together with the MCP server ACK key. And this will allow your agent to now talk to this function through MCP. And to do that, we'll go here. We will basically provide a name for this tool, provide the URL that we just looked at, and provide the key from the Azure portal. Again, we'll go back to an agent where I already have this tool. So now we've added more instructions that basically tell the agent to, in some conditions, use this particular tool to figure out if a pickup should be offered. Now, the next tool we want to add is going to be the shipping rates tool. To do this, let's assume I want to get shipping rates, but I don't have a tool in mind. So I can just go to the catalog and search for shipping. And, there are some options that are available here, and we can go ahead and pick Easy Ship. Now, you do have to create an account with each of these providers and get the API key and provide it. But the really nice thing here is all of these APIs, you don't have to really know the shape of the API. You can let the agent figure out what the shape of the API. And also, it provides you a good starting point. So if you're ever looking for a tool, you can go to the catalog and see if the thing that you're trying to accomplish is possible through any of these MCP servers that already are available in the catalog. We'll cancel out of that. We'll go back to our agent that already has this tool as well. So now we have all of these tools, and we've also added some new instructions that basically say if the customer is going to pay for the return shipping, then we can provide them with the quote from the shipping rate tool. And then what we want to do is call our existing business process that, let's say the organization already has a business process where once a return is approved, we can generate, the supplier needs to be notified, some databases need to be updated, and a shipping label needs to be generated and emailed out to the customer. Let's say all of this is an existing business process. So this is a logic app that implements this business process. And what we want to do is use this logic app as a tool, as an MCP tool. To do that, we go to our AI gateway and we simply import that logic app as an API. And once we've done that, we can go to MCP servers and create a new MCP server using that API. I've already created one here. This is the return execution tool. And I can go back to Foundry, and just the same way I added the function, I can add this by providing the URL to the tool, to the MCP tool, and also the key to talk to it that I can get from the AI gateway. One interesting point here is now the URL is actually the AI gateway. So all the interactions between the agent and the tool are now managed and are governed by the AI gateway. So let's switch to one of our agents here. And we now have the final return agent. So as you can see, this has a whole bunch of steps that it's executing, and it has a whole bunch of tools that the agent can use as needed for these steps. Now, one thing I want to note is this is not a best practice in terms of having one agent have so many different instructions. What we found to be a better practice is splitting this up into independent agents and using workflows to put these agents together. And now this entire workflow can be made available as one agent that can be accessed from, your chat application or from another business process. For now, we'll continue to use the return agent. Then run our agent. I'm going to do this in the Foundry chat playground. Typically, you would integrate this agent into a chat application, but using the playground allows us to see all the different stats that are happening. So in the playground, we show you all the different MCP tool invocations. Now, in a real chat application, you wouldn't be showing this to the end user and asking them to approve each invocation. But here in the playground, it allows us to kind of look at all the different parameters and the responses that we're getting. So now the agent is using the Shopify tool, and it's fetched some of the details from the order. And it wants to know both the item to be returned and the reason. Let's go ahead and just first give it the item number. So at this point, the agent has found more information about the item, but it still needs information about why the item is being returned before it can do its reasoning about whether the return is eligible. So now the agent has done its reasoning using the policy document of the relevant supplier, and it has figured that it can be returned. And now it's checking, it's going to use our function to check if the package is oversized. So the nice thing about agents is that they can sometimes use their global knowledge when the specific knowledge is not available. So in this case, the details about the dimensions are not available as part of our inventory database in Shopify. So it's just using some typical values for such items. Now, this is not appropriate in some use cases, but in a lot of use cases, it is okay to assume these typical values. So we'll go ahead and use that. While that's happening, I also, it finished. So now it's decided that the item is oversized and, a pickup will be offered by Teknova. And now it wants my email. Now, the interesting thing is, sometimes this data is already available to the agent and you just need to give it a hint. Okay, so that hint helped, and the email address was part of the order details that the agent pulled from Shopify. And we will basically tell it to go ahead, and now it's going to invoke our business process in Logic Apps that handles the creation of the shipping label and emailing it to the user. So go ahead and approve that as well. Our Gmail account, we would see that we've now received that email with the return details for this particular order. And going back to Foundry, as a developer, you can see the trace of each conversation. Let's pick the last one that was completed. So you can see all the calls that were made, all the interactions with the user, and the corresponding MCP tool invocation and the response of that invocation. So that was just a simple example of how you can use the power of the LLM to do reasoning and equip your agents with tools and basically implement an end-to-end business process, an agentic business process now that leverages existing APIs, existing functions, and existing business processes, but brings them all together to provide a great experience for your end user.
So where we are is we've kind of built our agent, and now we're going to move it and see how we can add agents and capabilities in code agents. And what Balin was showing you is how you can very quickly and easily build really powerful agents directly in Foundry by creating your instructions, connecting your tools, testing them out, evaluating them. But sometimes there's no substitute for the expressiveness and the complexity that you can create building in code. So in order to help with that, in Azure AI Foundry and Agent Service, we have the Microsoft Agent Framework, which allows you to build agents in Python and C#, connect them together into multi-agent systems and workflows, and then deploy those into Foundry using our new hosted agent service. And then once they're in Foundry, you can orchestrate them just like you can orchestrate any of your agents together in Foundry. You can use them, test them, evaluate them, connect them into M365, into Teams. All the things that you can do with your declarative agents in Foundry, you can do with code agents. And all this relies on a new feature we announced today for Foundry called Hosted Agents. And what Hosted Agents does, it allows you to take agents built with Microsoft Agent Framework or LangGraph, and then use our developer tools or Azure developer tools, wrap those up in a container. We'll do all that work for you. We'll host it up in Foundry so that anything that you've built in code can now be managed as an agent inside Foundry. So let's take a look at that. I will head over here. And, oh man, someone's been messing with my machine. All right. So we can take a look. If we're building in Microsoft Agent Framework or LangGraph, we can specify our agents in code. We can pull them from templates. We can do all the things that we could do in the Foundry portal. So you can see here I have an agent I've created. It's got It's got a name, it's got a prompt. We've connected to some tools. These tools are built in code. We can access anything that we can access in code. And it's got, custom structured inputs and outputs that we can use. So we can make sure that our agents always output data that can interface, with the rest of our systems. We can create a lot of agents. So this workflow I'm going to create is going to generate coupons for our customers. So it's going to look at what loyalty tier our customers in. It's going to look at what they're returning. It's going to go look at social networks, evaluate the product and some of the reviews of the product, and it's going to decide based on that if it should give a coupon for that specific product or if it should give a more generic coupon for the entire store. So we have, 6 agents here, and we're going to orchestrate these together into a workflow. And we do that again in code. In the same way, you can kind of imagine we have this graph and we're connecting these edges of all these agents together, and we can even do things like map reduce and fan in, fan out, and all the kind of things you would expect from, a workflow engine in code. And so we go ahead and run this, and actually I have it running, hopefully, over here. And we can see it. So this is the workflow we've generated. You can see we have these agents strung together. They're passing data between them. Our orchestrator agent makes a decision and then decides what kind of coupon we want to create. So we're using our dev UI here as part of Agent Framework to actually run this. And it's asking us for our inputs. Most of these have some defaults, but I'll put my name in here, and then we'll run it. And we can see our agents actually running. We're starting off by taking that input data, looking at the loyalty program that was given to us. Let's see here. I think are we going? There we go. Maybe? Yes. Okay. So loyalty agent running. Now the social agent is going out, checking all the social networks, using all our tools and connectors that we built directly in code, gathering that data, and then sending that off to our orchestrator agent, which looks at the data, decides what type of coupon, a product code, or a store discount, and then generates an email that we can now send to our customer with that information. All that happening in code, but what we really want to do is we want to integrate that with the agents that Balin showed you earlier that he wrote declaratively in Foundry. So very easy, if you're familiar with Azure Developer Tools, and even if you're not, if we've set up our project correctly, so I have over here, I've set up my project. We have tools to generate all the bicep and JSON and Docker files for you. And so all you need to do is you need to type not up here. All you need to do down at the bottom, you guys can see I am typing AZD up, which will package all this stuff up together, send it up into Foundry. But that takes a little while. It takes a couple minutes to do that. So what I'll do is I'll pop right back over into Foundry. And this is Balin's agent here that he was showing you earlier. But we can see earlier I created a hosted agent here. So this is an agent that is using that code that I deployed up into Foundry. We can't modify it once it's in Foundry because that was all done in code. All the instructions and tools were done in code. But I can talk to it. I can have conversations with it. I can look at the traces. I can monitor it. I can evaluate it. I can see all the things it's doing. And more importantly, I can connect it to my other agents using workflows. So I've created here a workflow using Balin's agent, which is the return agent. And then it loops through, but Balin, if his agent had been working, he would have gone through the loops, and it would have gone through all the steps that he showed and determined if the customer was eligible for a return. And once it had decided that it was going to process the return, what we want to do is we want to call our code agent. So just like I've created the return agent here in our workflow, if we decide we want to process a return, this is saying if the response is not process return. So if we're processing a return, we'll go over here. We'll invoke an agent. I'll pick my agent from the dropdown. I've got my list of agents that are from my agents tab. I'll connect that. And now I can run this workflow within Foundry with a combination of all the agents that I've built in Foundry. We have code agents. We have declarative agents working together and orchestrating themselves within Foundry. Now, what I really want to do, though, is I want to take these agents orchestrating together, and I want to use them with my business process automation. So I'm going to have Balin come back up here with his freshly refreshed laptop, and he's going to show us how we can connect this workflow to some existing business process automation.
All right, as soon as I walked back there, the network started working. So hopefully it stays. So, but let's switch to slides first for a minute. So what Shawn showed us was how you could build a team of agents. But now in many organizations, you already have existing business processes that you want to enhance using agents. So Microsoft's platform for business process automation is Azure Logic Apps. So in addition to the integrations that we showed earlier that are now also made available in Foundry, Logic Apps also gives you a battle-tested platform for running critical business processes. That includes different kinds of workflows. So these are not just workflows among agents, but also workflows that you would typically encounter in an enterprise, right? Things like updating databases, things like implementing transactions across multiple systems. These are some of the things that Azure Logic Apps does. Now, Azure Logic Apps is very mature technology. It's used by over 100,000 enterprises worldwide. It's running about 80 million executions every month. And now what we are enabling is the opportunity to bring some of the agents that you've built, whether you built them using code or visually, into Logic Apps. And the way we're doing that is through the Logic Apps Agent Service Connector. We're excited that this is going GA. Today, we've learned a lot from the public preview, and we have incorporated that into the product. So what the Agent Service Connector does is lets you seamlessly call agents that are in Foundry or elsewhere. It uses the A2A protocol, so you can also have agents running in GCP or in AWS, though we hope you do them all in Azure, and incorporate them into your existing business processes or new business process implementations that you're building. So with that, let's switch back to my machine and pray it works. Let's see, number 2. All right, so this is an existing Logic app that I have, and this one's the same return process. But assume that this was the original return process where the company basically uses ServiceNow. A user calls into the customer service center, and a human basically takes in all the information about the order to be returned, why it's being returned, things like that, and puts it into, creates a ServiceNow ticket for it. And at some point, another human picks up that ServiceNow ticket. Logic Apps provides integrations into Teams and various other communication tools. So you can assume that a Teams notification popped up, and a human basically now looked at this tool, and then they had to go figure out who is the supplier, look up their PDF documents, and you can also imagine the complexity when these documents could keep changing, like maybe the supplier changes policies every 6 months. And ultimately, they update the ServiceNow ticket again with their decision, and this Logic Apps workflow basically is listening for updates to that ServiceNow ticket, and it's able to send an email to the customer. Now, this is a process that could take hours or even days. And now with agents, we can make that much faster. So this is the same process or the same workflow. But now, instead of sending the ticket to a human and waiting for a response, it's basically using the Agent Service Connector to start a conversation with the agent, just like a human user would do. And it basically awaits a response, and then it continues the same process of sending the email out. So now let's see how this would actually work in action. This is ServiceNow. So we'll go ahead and create a new ticket. And let's say Nathan is the person who called into the call center and asked for a return. I have an order number here. Thank you, Kent. All right, now we can go back to our Logic app. Let's go look at the run history. And that looks like the one that just ran. So let's take a look at that. And you can see how it kind of picked up the ticket, took all the details from it. It called the agent. And basically, we can look at all the inputs and the outputs. Well, I have to look at the agent response. So basically, this is the email that's going to be sent back to the user. And assume this is Nathan Miller. And now this is the retention coupon that was sent out automatically. And what we just did was process the return and also generated the retention coupon. So just zooming out a little bit, if you look at this from a perspective of a business process, we made the process faster for the end user, who's the customer in this case. We've made it less human intensive, so there is less things that a human has to do to implement this business or execute this business process. And we've also enhanced the business process. So in addition to not only processing the return, we're also able to do things like generate retention offers and send it to the end customer. So there's more to agentic process automation, and later on I have some links to some of the other sessions that go deeper into that. There are, like we saw, a couple of ways to build agents and use them in Logic Apps. But you can also build these agents through Logic Apps, just like we built them with code and built them using the Foundry portal. Logic Apps is another way where you, as part of your business process, you can start creating agents that ultimately end up running in Foundry. So this is kind of what we went through so far. The last one left is governance. And as you can imagine, as developers build more and more agents and start using more and more tools and start sharing them across the organization, organizations are going to need a way to get visibility and control over these agents and tools. And that's what the Foundry control plane provides. Now, a big part of the Foundry control plane is the AI gateway. This is APIM, Azure API Management. This is the same gateway that Robert mentioned that KPMG uses to orchestrate their different agents and tools. What's exciting about what's happening now is we are incorporating this into Foundry. So right from within Foundry, you can create an AI gateway. You can use it to manage how your agents use different models. You can even switch between models and model versions without changing any of your agent code. You can take existing APIs and make them available as MCP servers. You can also put other MCP servers behind API management so that you get another point of visibility and control into how those MCP servers are being used by your agents. And not only that, the AI gateway also helps you incorporate agents that are running elsewhere. Like maybe you have, like I said before, unfortunately, agents running in GCP or on AWS. You can register them into the Foundry control plane using the AI gateway, and now all traffic to those agents flow through the Foundry control plane, giving you better visibility and control. So we'll switch back real quick. I just want to show you the Foundry control plane and how the AI gateway works. So under Operate in Foundry, if you go under Admin, there's the AI gateway section. You can add new AI gateways. You can Well, it's loading. Well, while that's loading, let's go and look at the actual AI gateway. This is Azure API Management. And as you can see, some of the MCP servers that we built previously now show up here. And you can put additional policies in place. So this is a simple example of a rate limiting policy for the Azure function that we converted into a MCP tool. If you remember, this was the tool to check for oversized packages. Maybe this is an expensive operation for you to run, so you want to throttle it. And that's easy to do with a policy, simply by adding a policy. And the nice thing about this policy applies to all usage of this tool within your organization. So rather than trying to hunt down how each agent uses different data sources and different tools, now you can manage that all centrally through the Foundry control plane using the AI gateway. And as you can see, the same AI gateway can be used against multiple Foundry projects. And it will apply all the content safety policies, all the API access policies and data access policies uniformly across all of those projects. So that kind of brings us towards the end. And just going over what we did today, we created some agents that can do reasoning on their own. We equipped those agents to talk to different business systems. We showed how to create agents through code and how to put all these agents together to create teams of agents, and then incorporate these teams of agents into existing business processes, and finally get management and governance across the entire application landscape. So these are some of the related sessions that I would invite you to go to. Shawn, our expert, will be talking about AI-powered automation and going deeper into the Microsoft Agent Framework and Foundry workflows in this deep dive session. The API management team will be talking about the AI gateway in more detail, showing you how to apply different policies and how to manage both models and tools and agents using the AI gateway. And finally, the Logic Apps team will be talking about agentic process automation and how you can, whether it's existing business processes that you're updating or new business processes you're building, how you can bring the power of agents to both of those through Logic Apps and its integration with Foundry. And we would love to hear from you. We are early in the agentic process automation space, and we would love to hear from you about what you plan to do with agents and what challenges you have. We'll be at the hub. We have a couple of booths, and the entire team will be there. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you at the hub.